Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, starring Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid, Miriam Flynn, William Hickey, Diane Ladd, John Rudolph, E.G. Marshall, Juliette Lewis, and Johnny Galecki, and directed by Jeremiah S. Chachik? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Please forgive me, pal. And before I get into this movie, I should say this now. This is my first two viewings of this movie. I've never seen it once in my life. I hear it's a holiday classic, and that's part of the reason why I'm reviewing this. And what do I think of it? Let's get into it, shall we? Clark, played by Chevy Chase, Ellen, played by Beverly D'Angelo, Audrey, played by Juliette Lewis, and Rusty Griswold, played by Johnny Galecki, before the Big Bang Theory go out to get a Christmas tree while a couple of trucks pass by them and act aggressive and gets in an accident, and they walk in the snow and the perfect tree and find the perfect tree and dig it up and bring it home. And we see Julia Louis Dreyfus before she was ever on Seinfeld and Nicholas Guest. They unleash the tree and Clark gets sap on his hands and gets stuck on everything, including Ellen's hair. The next day, Clark is at work and hopes to get a Christmas bonus from his job in order to get a pool in their backyard. And I do like the characters, but the comedy, unfortunately, isn't making me laugh as much. We meet Clark Sr., played by John Randolph, Nora, played by Diane Ladd, Art, played by E.G. Marshall, and Frances, played by Doris Roberts, come to the Griswold. And I swear, it sounds like Grindelwald from Fantastic Beasts, but let's move on. But they come to the Griswold house and they're frustrated while cooking and putting up Christmas decorations, and it's not making me laugh as it's humiliating at best. Clark gets stuck in the attic and steps in between the studs and falls through the bed and gets warmed up and watches home movies of his Christmas past from when he was a kid, and he falls down from sitting at the door, which is a physical comedy at best, and the movie has a ton of that, which is clever at best. And Clark fixes the lights and doesn't realize it was the light switch that fixed it. And Ellen's brother, cousin Eddie, let's call him, played by Randy Quaid, his wife Catherine, played by Miriam Flynn, and kids Rocky and Ruby Sue Johnson arrive. Why am I not liking this as much? Because it's not making me laugh, and I'm not convinced that this is one happy family. And overall, it seems tired after a while, in my opinion. Clark is up late, and so is Ruby Sue, and they talk about how Santa Claus is real in this world, anyways. And if she's been good, Santa will give her some wonderful Christmas presents. And the next morning, Clark comes down and sees the parents arguing while Eddie cleans up his toilet, and his crapper was full, let's say. And Clark and Ellen are worried about Eddie, and they want to give Eddie and his family a nice Christmas, which is a nice thing to do. And Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany wrap up their cat for Christmas as they arrive, which is a mean thing to do, in my opinion. And what makes it worse is she says the Pledge of Allegiance as a prayer at the dinner table as they eat Christmas dinner, and the cat chews on the Christmas lights and on the tree, I should say, and the dog makes a mess of the trash. And by the dog, I'm talking about Cousin Eddie's dog. Chews on the trash on the Christmas lights, on the trash can, I should say, and the cat explodes from electrocution under a chair to Uncle Lewis lighting up a cigar and gets the tree on fire. And something comes in the mail for Clark from the company, and they expect the Christmas bonus, let's say, but instead he gets a membership of the Jelly Club for 1 year, and he destroys it and goes crazy and saws down a tree to the neighbor's house, aka Nicholas Guest and Julia Louis Dreyfus's house. And the next scene, they hear a squeak coming from the tree, and a squirrel came out of nowhere, and the dog chases the squirrel, and they jump on Julia Louis Dreyfus, and she punches Nicholas Guest, and everyone is about to leave the Griswold's house. And they do end up staying, and they tell a Christmas story until Eddie brings Clark's boss into his house talking with Clark. and says without telling his employees there's no bonuses this year, but the boss changes his mind and the cops barges in and they almost arrest the Griswolds because of his wife. And by the wife, I'm talking about the boss's wife. And he is not pressing charges, and by he, I'm talking about the boss. And they see the northern lights with the stars, and they see Santa Claus burning on his sleigh with his reindeer, and everything worked out and out in the Christmas, which felt like a cliche. And I get how it's a holiday movie, but let's get to it, shall we? Let's get to the rating. I'll give this movie a 4.4 out of 10. I can see how this is a holiday classic, but it didn't feel that way to me. The humor is cliche, as well as the cliche, as everything worked out by the end of the day. Unfortunately, I didn't laugh at this movie except for the end, because it felt cliche and to death. And at the end of the day, I didn't like it as much as other people did. So yeah, this is another mild not recommendation for a Christmas movie. And I'm gonna just state this right now. I never saw any of the National Lampoon Vacation movies except for the remake with Ed Helms that came out like what, 5 years ago? And I saw like the first 5-10 minutes, I was done. I didn't want to see anymore. So after this, I never want to see another National Lampoon Vacation movie ever again. So I will be back next week with The Polar Express. And until next time, Merry Christmas to all, and good night.